Welcome to the Ultimate Fancast, where fans are the star of the show. Each week, we explore the epic co-created Battle Bunnies franchise from legendary artists Frank and Krista Linatra and the team at Junkbox Studios. Ultimate fans join BBS, Lord L, and Brian as they dive deep into the extraordinary world of the Battle Bunnies. Plus, we'll be your guides and take you backstage with the creators and actors who are captivating family audiences worldwide. Are you ready to meet this week's Ultimate Fan? It's time to fan up and enjoy the show.
Welcome, everybody, for another installment of the Ultimate Fancast. We have an Ultimate Fan. Well, I don't know if I should call him an Ultimate Fan or the reason why some of us, or if not all of us, are actually Ultimate Fans now. He's the creator, he's the vision, he's the face of Food Fight Studios, the head strategist. He's one of the founders of the Battle Bunnies. Like, the list goes on, the accolades, and man, we have an honor to have on the stage today. I'm even a little bit jittery saying it. We got Hoplite, we got Jon Briggs himself. How's it going?
Thank you guys, man.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. And I'm a fan, man. I think that's what one of the things that makes this thing work so well is we all start as fans, and fans. If there was a pie chart, any of the stuff we do, because we all wear a lot of hats, as they say, but fan is like the biggest piece of that pie chart for sure.
100%, man. I've spoken to you a lot of times, and you are humble as hell too. But I always still try and give you, your cake where it's deserved, man, because you're definitely an inspiration to all of us. And like I say all the time, when you speak, we kind of all like be quiet, and then we grab a pen and pad, just to remember the stuff. And having you here is an honor. It's being one of the first founders on the Fancast itself too. It's a little milestone right there. So that's awesome, man. I'm just going to say awesome, man, probably another 12 times, but it is, man.
No, that's how I talk, man. So you're doing a great job as an interviewer, to like dumb down to the person you're interviewing's level. So appreciate that, man. I did listen to your Jack Beard episode, which was great, as well. And yes, he is my frenemy. I guess he's my nemesis inside this Battle Bunny world. But you guys did a great job with that, and yeah, I'm excited to be here, man.
Does it bother you at all that he went first?
No, it doesn't bother me at first, because I think I actually missed our original schedule.
You did, yeah. So. You were scheduled ahead of him. You just
So that could have been by accident. Or it could have been a power play.
He's a big Red Sox fan, so
that's right.
Yeah, he loves the Reds.
He loves the Red Sox. If by Red Sox you mean the Yankees, yes, absolutely.
What's the statement, by the way, you're trying to pull here by slapping one on? Is this like are you on his side of the rivalry? Oh, we see what's going on here. He doesn't whip out the hat until he's like, I'm supporting my boy. He goes for the Red Sox.
He likes the Yankees. Mike is a Yankees fan. He's not a Red Sox fan.
Also a fan.
Oh, yeah, look at you twinsies. I love the twinsies. Is yours black or blue? BBS?
Mine's blue, I think. Yeah.
Is yours black, John? Do you have the black one on? I love the DPS sweatshirt. That's sweet too.
I got a blue one. Yes, this is fresh off. I might even start sneezing a little bit, because I just literally opened this up. Aaron at Dead Poker Society said, "Hey man, just got some merch launched." So I snagged a sweatshirt. It's actually I can't turn that far back, but it's got some art that Frank did for DPS, and it's super comfortable. So
you got the collab Joker. You got the collab Joker on the back.
Got the collab Joker on the back. Yes. Yep.
That's Luke's favorite. That's his all-time favorite Frank piece.
I think in so many levels, right? Because it could make an amazing card in the card game. It can make an amazing character in the novels, amazing character in your future animations or whatever else we have to come. Like the colors, the layers, the colors itself is like what I love about it. That real greeny, toxic green looking to that purple. So I just think he'd be a wicked dude once we got a story for him. If we don't already have a story for his backstory, man, it would be absolutely crazy. Because just the look in his face, like the way that the art's drawn and painted, you can just see it's full of life. It's not just flat. So, he's got that little bit of character about him that I think would definitely be up my alley. So that's kind of the why I like it. But
I love
definitely,
it.
And he looks like a shaman. Is he a shaman? Do you know, John?
Yes, I think he is a shaman.
He's a shaman, okay.
If I think
That's
he is,
why.
yeah.
That's why, Luke.
well, that was unbiased. I
he's
didn't
your
even
thief.
notice that. Oh, no.
No, look, you hit the nail on the head in a lot of ways. Because you said, okay, it could be a character in the novel, it could be a perfect playable card in TCG. It's great art. It will do a really cool backstory for it and all that stuff. But like, it's all of the above for sure. So it will be a playable card. It will be in the novel. All of those different things, and it's been really cool when you take multiple components of really cool things like TCGs, like books, and you kind of put them all together where they aren't normally put together. So I've had a lot of fun these last 20 months or so, kind of
the thrill of holding it, right? Because you get to hold that in your wallet, and that's another aspect on its own, because it's like, yo, it's in a TCG, yo, it's in a novel, yo, it's in this animation, and guess what? I actually own it. Like, it's in my wallet as the, like, see, like you having. And
Is that one of the officials?
This is not one of the officials. This is one of the knockoffs that because I had Creature over, and he was teaching me in the game, and we played right here in this room. So I actually printed these out and then and played it. But we're not far off. I think tomorrow is the official day that it gets delivered to Frank's door at this point. So by the time this thing comes out, we'll already have all the TCG cards, the official ones, not the knockoffs.
Which, if you didn't hear in the space literally yesterday, a lot of the intel came out. So if you're hearing this after or before this May release, definitely tune in on the spaces, because that's where we get to see a lot of and hear a lot of stuff. We get to the amount of alpha that they dropped just yesterday.
Okay. I gotta go back and check it out.
Definitely
from 923, 923 space.
All right. I gotta go check it out because I gotta make sure that he didn't drop too much, because Frank has a tendency to definitely drop.
He was restrained.
It was jam packed.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of the planning leading up to Richmond, from what I heard. But yeah, it was. I wasn't live like Luke. Luke was on the show, so he was a co-host. But take us. I know a lot of the people that's watching this may already know your story, John. But for those people that don't know, like. What was the genesis of like you getting together with Frank and Krista and you and Mike? Because I think a lot of people would love to hear that. I know you've given this story before, but kind of walk us back to that. I think, and give us just kind of your take on all that stuff and how you guys came together.
Yeah. And I'll run through it. I mean, first off, Mike and I go back over 20 years. So I had a buddy I went to high school with that ended up going to college and was in Mike's fraternity. So that's where I met Mike. I would go. He was in Montreal. The drinking age at that point was at 18 or so. So we would go from my college at University of New Hampshire all the way up to his college in Montreal. It was like a nice 3.5 hour drive. And we connected, and I've known Mike. He just happened to move to Miami, or he moved to Fort Lauderdale like 2 or 3 months after I moved to Miami. So it was just this weird kind of serendipitous situation that kept us kind of hanging out and doing those things. And I think that's one of the things that actually makes this thing really work. I mean, you got Frank and Krista that have been married and known each other for I don't know how many years, but it's a while. And Mike and I have known each other for a while, so it's been really fun working with them. I go back with Frank over 10 years because when my first son was born, who's now 10, that's how I can say that. We decorated his nursery with a bunch of Frank's art. I just wanted you go crazy with your firstborn, right? There's always more pictures of them. Mm-hmm. They get all these great things. So like, all right, let's get them exposed to art. Let's give them like 3 language books to read them bedtime stories, right? So it's all that stuff. But I got Frank's art and decorated his nursery with that, which I still have hanging up over there, just out of camera. But that's where I go back with Frank, and always loved his art. I've been a collector of his stuff. I mean, just random stuff. So here's like a nice little patch. This is not Battle Bunnies related, just some really, really cool things that I was kind of going back and seeing what I have of Frank's
sticker pack
from back in the day. So really a lot of the stuff we're doing
I got that.
It's good, right? You got this one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yep.
I love
Yep. So yeah, not too many of the people have those things, so it's cool. But yeah, I've been collecting his physical merch for a long time. 3 or 4 years ago, as I have an animation studio, we're always trying to take it to the next level and just do different styles. And it's not your typical animation studio. It's a scrappy little group of people that try to like push the edge and do things that aren't typical. It's just kind of who we've always been. So I was like, all right, big test. Let's see if we can animate Mr. Linatra's stuff. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, can you give me some of your characters? Do you mind if I can just try to like animate them a little bit? And we just did these little goofy little animations, and that started a conversation with something that he wanted to kind of put together called Never Dead. And it is a really cool concept, really cool art. They had put some things together to say, hey, we want to make this an animation show. Can you kind of help us do that? And that's kind of this informal, which became formal chat that Frank and I had before NFTs and before all that stuff. And Never Dead is still something that it will, it's on the back burner, but it's not too far off from other stuff that we're doing.
That's awesome. Do any of those animations live out in the wild where, super fans like us would someday discover them?
Probably. What I was really just trying. Yep. What I was really just trying to do is like take his character design and then just do goofy little animations. So we can even like put one up here as we in the post edit stuff. But he had a character called Philip, who was kind of like this chubby little kid who was eating like a Snickers bar or something. So we just animated him eating things like that, and it was more of a test. We have I took he had a pin or a sticker or something of a blender that reminded me of like back in the day. There used to be like this PSA with like Bugs Bunny, and like the blender was a cartoon, and it kind of came to life. And I was like, that's cool. So I took that from him. He just kind of sent me a Dropbox link and was like, take anything you want to do here. So yeah, those do live out there. And then that was a cool little snippet animation that we did of his stuff.
Very cool. Yeah, I know. I can speak for the animation because I'm the owner now of Dark Matter. You can see in the background here, and
That's right.
Ashman did that animation of Dark Matter with his kind of backstory, and that was really cool. Like that's one of my favorite things about the in my collection is that I've got a character in that animation that you guys did. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, no, and I think there's multiple ways to do things. I think. Look, Frank's style is so legit that to do it right, to do this Battle Bunnies and the Unlikely Spartan feature film, it's going to take a lot of people. It's going to take a lot of like post-production and all of those things. So we can animate it. We kind of have a saying, instead of like good enough, we've always had this saying of like, is it great enough? Like, can we put out this Blender animation? Is it great enough? And another reason that Frank and Krista and Mike and I work so well is the Linatras also have that, and it's we've come to say like, is this Linatra enough? That's kind of like our standard here. It's not good enough. It's not great enough. Is this Linatra enough to go? Because if we had our way, and sometimes we have to pull Frank away from his drawings because it's like, it's done, dude. It's perfect. It's great. I thought it was done like 3 hours ago, and he's still kind of doing little details. So I think all of us have that. So we kind of use our buddy system to pull us away from our stuff.
Linatra enough. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great.
That's very cool.
So how did NFTs get into the mix? I mean, we talk about art, but that seems like a big jump.
Yeah,
into a new space that really no one knows about.
Yep. Yeah, great question. So back to that Never Dead, that is something that we pitched and have an animation studio, but it is something that it would cost some money to kind of fund this and get this out. And it's a really great story. So I kind of started taking it around and pitching it around to other producers and studios and stuff like that we could build it up. But you could just tell the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, right? We have this amazing story that we loved it. We were immersed with it. It was kind of like Pet Sematary, but for like kids. And it was a really, really great story. It was really, really good. And it is really good. But every time we kind of took that around, you could kind of see maybe a producer would pick it up. Maybe they give it I'll give you like some money for like an option, and maybe that's $1,000 for the rights to use it for like a year. And they have that sole right to like pitch it around, or hey, redheads are in right now. We should change this color to red, and like you shouldn't do this with that. And like could just kind of see like this was just going to be a headache, so we shelved it. But we always said like, hey, we'll kind of come back to this if it makes sense. We just kind of did our own little thing. And then how NFTs kind of came in is I was hearing NFTs, did not understand it at all, but it was around like those like the pandemic when Clubhouse, that app, I don't know if it's still around, but kind of like Twitter Spaces, but in this app called Clubhouse. And I was kind of testing it out for our studio and an agency to see like what is this Clubhouse app, and I kind of saw like a lot of rooms talking about NFTs. But you hear like Lindsay Lohan pop in and be like, buy this, and I didn't understand the concept. It was probably very similar to a lot of other people's first understanding of it. Like, why would I buy this for a digital piece of art? It makes no sense. Like that's where my head was at. It took me probably over a year to really understand the concept and a use case for us. And right around that same time, again, serendipity, I had saw an Instagram post of Frank, or a Facebook post of Frank, that said the Battle Bunnies NFT. And I just messaged him and said, like, this is awesome. This is exactly the path. Because at that point I did understand, I did see a viable path. Like if we had that back with Never Dead, like that thing would be up and running at this point, right? So I was just grateful for him and happy for him. So I sent him that message, and he was like, "Yeah, man, let's chat about it." And he had all these great ideas. He was talking a mile a minute, and we're gonna do this, we want to do that. Maybe one day we'll be in VR. And I was like, dude, like you
slow down
in VR now, right? Yeah, slow down. But like maybe 5 years we'll have a VR world. And I was like, you could have a VR world in like 5 days. Because we were experimenting of building VR worlds. We made like a little podcast studio of Food Fight Studios podcast studio, and inside of VR, and it was super fun. So I was like, you know what, dude, give me one of your characters, I'll model it, and I'll just throw it up in a little VR space. And that's kind of how we started talking. And before you know it, it was natural fit where we just kind of jumped in, and we were a little bit late to them. I think they had started, I don't know, anywhere from 2 to 3 months beforehand with the Battle Bunnies, but it was still super early. They weren't anywhere ready to launch or anything like that. So we brought our whole team on and spent a year just rocking it out and trying to figure out what the hell is NFTs, what is this stuff, and how can we make it work for the Battle Bunnies. And here we are 20 months later, I think, or something along those lines.
Well, it's crazy to think for us, and even for yourself, is like you didn't know what NFTs were,
Yep.
Just before this, and now, in my opinion, and I've said this a lot, I think, you're on the leading part of this NFP Web3 space. We're the innovation. Like the Battle Bunnies are innovating and doing stuff before other people are doing it. And to think, 20 months ago, you were like, what's NFTs? All right, so what can we do here? Like you definitely hit the ground running. That's for sure, because
we definitely did. And I can't do this without taking at least one stab at Jack Beard, who is our de facto tech guy. But the first time I was like, yo, come in here into this thing called Discord and just meet with Frank and a couple of his dudes. And he couldn't figure out how to get into Discord and get to the meeting. So he missed the meeting. So our tech guy couldn't figure out Discord, which says more about Discord than him, to be fair, but still quite funny.
True. But he's such an integral part of this all. Like every piece is really. But when I think of like the security around it and the added trust around, like not financial advice. We always throw that in there, but just like the security around it and the like the amount of effort that he puts into it, and that he just was like, from what I understand, he was just thrown into this. And now I feel like I look at another project, they're not even near it. They're not even near this project with their technology and their contracts. So huge shout out to Jack Beard / Mike on that.
Yes. And
you guys are definitely innovated.
What'd you say?
You guys have definitely innovated
Yeah.
in this space.
Yeah. And I heard the conversation you guys had with them. Just like anything, like there's nothing really new. Now this NFT technology kind of came out and it was new. And it was something, and that was actually really cool from a creative standpoint for me, because I could understand, like, I could go back to stuff that we had shelved before, and I could see the path laid out for me right out of the gate with NFTs. And it wasn't so much what we've learned. It wasn't so much the technology, it's how the technology was applied for other use cases that it's like, wow, we could do this, we could do that, we could do that. And it doesn't even, a lot of this isn't even Web3. It's just common sense. It's just really making this experience enhanced. He was totally thrown in it, didn't know any of this stuff. But the more we just asked questions and just kind of pushed the boundaries of just like asking questions, we realized, dang, you can do a lot of this stuff this way and that way and that way. And what we came in and found was the way people were doing things, and it was $30,000 for a developer. That had to be this, that had to be that, had to do that. You had to have this Web3 website, all of these things. That's like, okay, shoot, this is really hard for us. We kind of realized that's not 100% accurate, and we were always just on the search for different avenues, like we always have, no matter what we've done. Different avenues to kind of create things, produce things unconventionally, produce things that you wouldn't think a small group of ragtaggers could kind of put together. But we've done a good job with that, man. I feel like that's what we've been doing ever since. So innovative.
You're definitely humble, because I don't see it as ragtaggers. I feel like,
yeah,
like when I'm looking from the outside in, and then being inside for almost a year,
Cool.
I'm seeing the wheels turn. I'm seeing the deep thought that's put into every step. So I feel like each person is contributing to that.
Yes.
And I appreciate it. Like the Dark Dragons just launched, or they've started to launch, and like parts of it are just amazing. Like we start off with an egg, and then
what is your name?
The names,
Dark
I have
Dragon?
it translates to it's dark.
Okay. What is it?
It's dark.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Just put a logo in there.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, the way you guys integrate story into everything, I think, is like what separates you from a lot of the other projects. And again, I'm still the noob when it comes to a lot of this NFT stuff.
We all are.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is, right? But like the way that you guys think through story and how this applies to, like what you're trying to do with Dark Dragons is so you can make an extension of the story that you guys are already thinking about. Is that a fair assessment from me as an outsider kind of looking in? Is story what's driving a lot of the innovation?
Yeah. So, and I can't wait for you to have Frank and Krista on. When the collection wasn't complete when we kind of jumped on board, so he was still drawing traits, and I just think he's still drawing traits for crying out loud. But he was doing it in a way that other NFT projects were, right. So the reason you see Laser Eyes is not because he had this well thought out story of Battle Bunny with laser eyes. Like that's not part of that story. So, but for me, I think like everything has to revolve around the story. And I was such a stickler to the point where I annoyed the hell out of them of saying like, well, that doesn't make sense, man. That doesn't make sense. The story. Like, why is this? Why is this like that? Like I went hard on trying to take what we had, just literally just threw it up against a wall, a digital wall. We had like this digital dashboard, and we just like, how do we make this a story? Because he had this well thought out world, but there wasn't like a story in place because he didn't need to at that point. That wasn't what it was there for. Like it was an NFT collection that he was launching. When we came in, we were like, okay, well, if we're going to create a show out of this thing or develop this IP, let's start with the story. So we started with that.
I was going to say, how does it feel to be Hoplite himself. Like having that.
I hate it almost. I hate it almost. I hate it almost because the last thing I'll add to that stuff is when you see the Dark Dragons and all that stuff is like after series 1, for me, I feel like finally we're ahead of the story where we're not creating things inside the story because things that were out there already. I think we did a great job with that as a team, but now we actually can do some really cool, fun, innovative stuff. And that's why you see like these Japanese names of the dragons, which is there are clues in that no one's really picked up on. But there are clues in that of where these dragons kind of came from and originate from. So I'll drop that. As far as Hoplite, yes, a little bit. As far as Hoplite, the first thing, it's like if you told me like I was going to be in Discord, which is like old school AOL chat room with like a fantasy fiction name, talking to people that I never met before. I would have thought you were crazy at that point, or I thought I would have gone crazy.
That's my wife.
That's how I exactly me as well.
Yep. So I jumped in and it's like, okay, I got to think of a name. I can't be just like Jon Briggs, like Brian Stout. I got to think of a creative name. So I started.
Doesn't everybody want to be Brian Stout? I mean, I thought that was an aspiration for most. Like,
can't now. Yep, that Discord name is taken.
Yeah,
it's taken.
But we there was a point where we were like, okay, there's all these different classes of Battle Bunnies, and originally the collection was originally gonna be 5,000, because that's just kind of what the industry was at that point. So when we came in, it was like, hey, we got this 5,000 Battle Bunnies generative art that we're doing. For me, I saw a lot of different things. And I was like, man, this is the first time we've done this. There, we saw projects that kind of didn't launch well, and it hurt them. But even more so, I saw projects that didn't launch well, and like people lost a bunch of money on gas and all that stuff. So I was like, let's pull a restaurant model. Let's have like a soft opening a little bit, is what we decided as a team. So that kind of became the 300 Genesis launch, which is the Spartans, which is one of the favorite things that I feel like we did early on. That wasn't initially in the plan, but it's like, all right, I need to understand Spartan history. So watched 300 a couple times, told my wife that it's just strictly for work purposes. And
I've enjoyed it every 2 hours worth.
Yep. And I saw that the Hoplite Phalanx was the famous formation that these Spartans get into. So I was like, Hoplite, that sounds perfect. So just threw that name out there. And when we were writing the book, I definitely did not want to be. There's not the character has nothing to do with me, and the characters in the book is important. Is like they really don't have a lot to do, or if anything, to do with the characters themselves, with the exception of maybe Narf. But it's really just the names. And when we wrote the book and Greg Larson kind of delved into these characters, he didn't know anybody here. So Hoplite is like nothing to do with me. I just thought that name kind of sounds cool with Battle Bunnies, makes perfect sense for a main character. So I reluctantly did that.
How crazy does it mix though? Like it's Hoplite, and you got it on the Spartan movie. Like, come on, like if that was not destined to be a Discord name in the Battle Bunny, I don't know what was.
Yep, that's kind of how it came. And my team thought it was like from Miller Lite, because I always drink like the Miller Lite LIT can. So they were like hops light, so they thought it was like a beer reference, and I was like, you clearly don't know anything about Spartan history.
Hops,
so.
Yeah. Were there any classes that weren't considered, like, or were considered but didn't make it? Like, so we have 5 classes, right, of bunnies. Were there any that were brought up but just scrapped, or?
That's a frank question for sure. When I came in, like, I'm not. I love stories, man, and I love. I read a ton of books and fiction. Watch a ton of those types of movies. I'm not like the geeked out Star Wars or Star Trek fans that you all guys are at all, but I've come back to it, right? So a big part of me is like I need to understand that. So I've recently delved in that. I've always been a big Marvel fan, but I delved back into all of these different types of worlds. So shamans and sorcerers. These aren't Valkyries. These weren't things that were like native to me. And I have to go to like a lot of trilogy games and all that stuff. These are classes that are there. The Spartans came on because at I feel like we were on a live stream or something, but I was doing work with the Spartan Race company and like Joe DeSena, so who's the founder of Spartan Race. So I think it just kind of came up in conversation, and Frank was like, "Ooh, I'll draw a Spartan," and then somebody else in the project was like, "Well, make 300 of them." Right, like like, so that's kind of how that happened. So Spartans were the ones that were the add-on. They originally weren't in the class system.
It's crazy the way you say it, just like that too, how it just unfolded. Like, and it for us, we just
sounds
think
like him too.
Oh man, and it's absolutely crazy to hear, especially obviously hearing it from you, being the influential voices there, or part of the influential voices. But just how it was just like, yeah, let's just do this, and then next minute Frank's just whipping something up, and then someone else is like 300. Let's do it like the Spartans, and then for all we know, now we idolize the Spartans almost more than anything in the collection. Like I know I minted some when I was mint. I remember being literally breakfast time. I think it was like super early. I'm on holiday too, and I was at the table, and I remember like I couldn't get one for like 15 minutes, and I was having a meltdown. But man, I remember like that, and since then, even to this day, like it's even though there's 300 of them, even some of the one of ones, you'd pass up for a Spartan because it's the Spartans, man. Like the Spartans.
It was crazy, man. So you minted a Spartan?
I minted two. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
The
probably the first 10 minutes.
That's awesome. It was a really crazy feeling. At one point, we literally just deconstructed everything here from the get-go. It's like, okay, what is this Discord thing? What is this smart contract thing? What is this generative art thing? And that's where Mike got sicked on and was like, just understanding it. We were just trying to figure it out, report back info and try to figure it out. And he figured out a lot of stuff, but we didn't know any of that stuff. But the Discord went from like 10 people popping in saying hello with the coffee emojis to like 300 or 400 people like overnight really quick. And I remember one time I jumped in and there was like a karaoke contest from somebody in Singapore that was jumping around and doing these. So I was like, what the heck happened here? So it was like a flip of the switch. And I think a lot of those people, probably 90% of them, if I had to guess, were just in this little NFT frenzy. And we're just trying to find the next great thing. And frankly, man, we felt like this is really cool. This is amazing. It was a great feeling. This is, but like, it just wasn't genuine in a lot of ways. And it's like, oh, we kind of missed like the 10 of us, saying GM and stuff like that with, but it worked. We sold the NFT launch out and we did it in 48 hours or so. But even then that was like considered a failure at that point, where people were like putting spreadsheets out like it was like some Wolf of Wall Street stuff, like, oh, your line is up here and this and that, and like it was like, you know what, this is not really who we are, who we wanted to be. And but it was a crazy thing from like overnight. It just popped from there. But after the Spartans came, it kind of just it settled, and it's been amazing ever since, man. We've kind of grown the way we wanted to after that launch.
It literally, the space is totally different to what it is there now. You'd almost pay more in gas to what you would actually for the mint. So like you said, it was back then, it was in that middle of that pump and dump phase where everyone was literally, they'll just buy, pump and dump. And, you'd have to jump in Discords and talk X amount of times to get a whitelist. And then once you got the whitelist and so on and so forth. And that's definitely not what we've got happen over at Bunnies. And that's definitely not what happened at the start. Like, it was never like that. Like you said, there was just the 10 of us. We're all in there mucking around, going from, our little trifecta or whatever we would at the time, jumping around. And then it just grew slowly. And those 10 people now, I could almost say probably 9, if not all 10 of them are still here. And now we've just got even more. So like the culture that we've created now, like someone that comes in 2 days ago almost is like feels the same as what we did at the start. You know what I mean? Because of the culture that we breed here. There is no, you got to buy this to do this. It's no financial, man. You come in, you don't have to buy a single thing. If you like it, you like it. That's it. it's nothing's forced, and we've got so much available just for the people that can't afford or just don't want it. So having that culture, I think it's created who we are. And we were there when the bull rush or whatever they were calling it, and now it's like we're still here doing the same thing, not the same thing, sorry, doing what we said we were going to do. And like, we don't even have a roadmap anymore. You guys have been pumping out contracts and smashing out like amazing art, like, and consistently and staying strong. And that's what we need in this space. And we're creating that.
Yeah, man. Very well said. Very well said. I think after that Genesis Spartan launch, going into Series 1, that was like when everybody was like, oh, NFT is dead. This is a bear market, all of those things. And but we were like, hey, this is not an NFT project. This is a business. NFTs are a component of it. We wouldn't just stop a business because it's a recession or a quote unquote bear market with anything. So we just we, against really everybody's advice, I think we were like, let's just do Series 1. Let's just do it away. And we wrote an article like fun without the FOMO. And it's kind of been like our little mantra of, we sold out the Genesis without selling out, without, kind of doing shady marketing tactics and a lot of the stuff that things were happening there. So I feel like we kind of put our foot down together, but we're four of us are very much like-minded and don't like any of that stuff. And anyway, so it was a very easy conversation to have, but it was also a very rewarding conversation. And we've tried to operate that way ever since, man. But that's what attracts the real types of people that are really here. And you can, that's why we're all here talking in a lot of ways, and it builds it stronger than the people that we're doing. I don't know if they're doing karaoke in some other server at this point, but they're not in ours, but they were never really here for it.
We will next week. That's
next week coming through. Yeah.
Because I could see Phil squirming in his seat going, oh man, I just want to sing that Celine Dion song that I've got set up for karaoke.
What would be each of your karaoke songs, or what is your go-to karaoke song if you have one?
Oh man,
well, mine would be something that's like a real strong ballad one, like where I get to like open up my lungs. Maybe not very good, but it'd be definitely something like I can't even think of something. Or if not, I'll just like do like a Jason Derulo or something, because you can't stuff that up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Can you say like Lukey G or NFT Lukey, whatever, or Lord L? Can you say that in like a Jason Derulo tone? Can you say like?
Yeah, I don't think so, man. But
you put him on the spot. Let's see it, Luke. Let's
close, John. We almost got him.
Almost got him to do it.
Yep.
Do you have one? I don't know that there's like one song that I do karaoke, because I sing like I was in a band for years and years and years, so I sing a lot of different stuff. So it just depends on like what I feel. But I might go to like something like a Matchbox 20 song, like Iris or something like that. It's kind of a ballad.
Because you'll rock up there and just kill it, obviously, by the sounds of it. We'll jump up there and make a fool of ourselves. Brian's got this like down.
So Brian's not invited to the karaoke night.
I'm up there trying to impress everybody with my vocal chops, and you guys are like, "How can I make them laugh?" And
we could do a quartet and just have Brian lead it and make us look good. That's what I think we should do.
Well, in saying that, last year at Richmond there was a karaoke thing there, so we could do something. We definitely got. We could jump up there and do something.
Okay.
If
my wife's not there, I wouldn't embarrass her either, so I could jump up there and do like whatever. But
you'll probably have your name tag on too, exactly who you are. So it'll be like, we know who that guy is.
Although I've never sung without a guitar in my hand. That's the weird thing, is like I don't think I could just sing like standing there. I'd have to have like a guitar in my hand. Like it's my crutch, and I got to be playing. So.
Well, so
you're already way better than any of us. So.
I was gonna say,
you can see the guitars. I got the guitars down there, so I'm not just like I'm legit. Like I can play some guitar sometimes.
So I say this loosely, but it's because you're not a massive fan of being Hoplite. If you're going to be another character, who would it be?
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing.
Like would you have?
What's your next character? Yeah.
my favorite character is not me at all. My favorite character in that is Narf. I just think he's very well written. The Greg Larson who took the notes that we had and kind of did the dialogue with Narf inside the book and all of those things for book one of The Unlikely Spartan. I think just did such a great job. And Narf is definitely a character, which I'll even tell you. I don't know if you guys know this stuff, but the original drafts that we got, Narf died. Narf died in the book, and we had to fight to. I was like, no, dude, Narf can't die. We'd sort something else out. So like the original draft we got with that, Narf was Gonzo. So but thankfully we wouldn't let that happen. Narf's alive and well, and on to book 2 and 3. He's a prominent character as Frank is. He's probably my favorite character of it.
I was gonna say, with it so creative, the name itself, like Narf is Frank backwards. Like, damn, like I wish my name had something cool like that. Like,
yep,
it does.
That's like the FedEx logo, right?
Yeah. So there's so
I
many
never even
things.
realized that. Like,
Yeah.
you just said that.
Okay,
It's
that's funny because
legit,
I would never have realized it either until he said something. But but that was I always try to like make some jokes and puns back on some people. So like there's a land called the Crags of Croy, and we just thinking of like, hey, what could we name this with this and that? And I was like, I don't know. I had just been to England and was in York, and there was a bunch of pirates that they have a big history of pirates invading or Vikings invading York. So I was like, I don't know, Croy. And I kind of made it as a joke because he did Narf backwards. And he's like, Crags of Croy. So it became Crags of Croy. So there is some backwards names that was you could see our backwards name phase and some of the lands in there and characters as well.
It's an awesome touch to keep it who it is as well. Like, it's definitely Narf the Mad is Frank for sure.
He's great. There's a line in the book that's like something like sure, I'll help us get out. I got might as well help us get out anyway. I got us in this mess or something. And it's like I hear Frank in my voice because when the NFTs are like when all of this craziness of the technology and the space and all that stuff was going on, it's like that's the voice I hear Frank actually saying this, like, I got us in this mess. I might as well help us get us out. So I always bring that back and tease him.
Mine thing that I've actually got one of those exact things with Frank as well. It's when he says, "Hey, buddy," in the chat. Yep. He's like, "Hey, buddy," you know, the way he says it. Like, I didn't even know if I nailed it very good there, but just when you see him, just that's every time I see him write it to someone, I hear him saying it. It's crazy.
Same deal. When I'm on the Twitter space and I don't show up for all of them, and he'll be like, "Oh, nice of you to join us, sir." Like, you know, like he's my teacher and I just come into like second period or something.
Class. Yeah, you're late to class.
So yes.
I had a question about the Series 1 contract when it was redone. What was the thought process behind that? Like, why was that contract redone?
Cool.
And then what was then we had the squirrels out too, and
yep. So I feel like you didn't get to ask that. You guys had such a great chat with Jackbeard that was one of the questions that you had to ask him and that stuff. So happy to help. So the it worked out great, man. So like again, when we came into here, these smart contracts and you need a special developer, and they're like really hard to find that would do these Web3 websites and Web3 contracts and things. And Juan at Palomino at I think it's like Full Speed Dev or something, but he's just a great guy. He was heading up the contract with a couple others, and it was really specialized and it was hard to do. And it's like this, if we continue down that path, it was going to like this. How are we going to be able to pull this off if we have to find a specialized person that's very expensive? All of these different things. We still did it for Series 1, so we still hired somebody else. Juan actually, for Series 1, he had donated his time and was volunteering in, I believe, in Africa with his girlfriend, so he wasn't like even going to be during our launch. So we brought in another company to do that, but it was still expensive in all that world. So we did it like we did that Series 1 original contract, very similar how you would do the Genesis launch, but as we were kind of looking at other projects and seeing like these different tools that were coming out, we started like tinkering around and playing around, and it was like, wow, check out this, and Mike, and see if you can do something there. And he would come back and be like, nah, nothing there. But then he would come and be like, this is kind of cool. And he started figuring out and tinkering how to do his own smart contract and things like that. So in order to do the things that we wanted to do, and have control over the ability to like name the dragons like we're doing now, or name the bunnies, do all these things that you guys talked about in that last episode. You couldn't do that before. You just need to like find the specific person that has that technical capability. This we could do in-house. So, you know, I don't want to ruin the story, but I think most people have got there's an event at the end of that book that happens. So we just kind of incorporated it, and it's like this contract got invaded by the samurai squirrels and moved to a new land, was kind of the story how it started. And but it's allowed us to continue to tinker and play around and do some cool things. And that's why we've even evolved from, I feel like every drop we try to evolve and do something different. That's like the Lenatra enough standard. It just can't be the same. So it's allowed us to really just get better and better and better. And we're not perfect, but we still got some cool things planned that for the next stuff as well.
I think, like you said, too.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, hopefully it was good.
Like you said, be able to be more responsive as well on it, because you having control of the contract itself. When like when I've seen someone's stolen some NFTs or try to sell stolen ones, you actually do like an overlay now of a stolen NFT, and it's those things that you can do quickly now, when before I guess you would have had to organize the dev or talk to the dev at a different business, and now you can really. We can hit you up, or you're usually onto that sort of stuff anyway of what's going on, and we're little things like that. And obviously that has evolved into our eggs hatching and so many more different things. But
that was not that you're referencing somebody got their NFT stolen. Well, obviously that stinks, and never want to see that happen. And you obviously don't want to see people get it stolen, and the person that steals it to be able to sell it back and then make money. And it's like, that was not unanimous right out of the gate. I mean, I think everything we've done has been unanimous, so that did become unanimous. But I was pretty strong when that happened, for me personally, of like, I don't want to do that. But it worked out. I'm glad that we did do it in the end. We had three votes of yes, and it jumped in, and I'm glad that we did do that, because at the end, everybody received it really well. But that was not a unanimous decision to change that and do that, because I knew that that's still going to happen. There's still people that are going to get their NFT stolen. But it really worked out. I don't know.
For us as collectors, it worked out because we got to see another awesome piece of art.
Yes.
Like that boat, man. I kind of want one stolen so I can have that art. So.
Yes. Yep. No, I got you, man. And it is unanimous at that point. I'm very glad that we did do that. It's just one of those things that at that time, I didn't know if we should do that. But what's cool about this community is I think I still had my old lens of the stuff that I learned from the old launches and things like that. Because when we jumped in here, I just interviewed a bunch of founders of other projects and just like try to understand, like, okay, what makes this world tick? What are you guys doing? What are the no-nos, all this stuff? So I think I just still have my lens on it. Like, I don't think you could do that in Web3 and all that stuff. The reality is this community was like, that's freaking awesome that you did that. You guys did it for the right reason. And I think that's what sold me over, was before we did it, was like, anything we do, we're doing it for the right reason. And it was to protect that from that person, but also make sure that we didn't set a precedent for these people to kind of come in and try to keep stealing and kind of keep going from that well. And that's what sold me on it. But at the end, it really worked out. And the person got their NFT back. The other person didn't get to sell it, or the stolen one, and you got your cool piece of art.
I know we've had you for almost 50 minutes, and I want to be respectful of
We'll
your
need
time.
another 2 hours, John.
But-
is what we're getting at.
But yeah, you would like now that we're at the halfway point with John,
Yeah.
what is the next 50 minutes going to look like? Is really what the fans out there want to know.
We could probably
And-
squeeze in a quick game though, couldn't we, Brian?
We could probably throw in a game, but John, if you're up for a game, we could do the game. If not,
Yeah.
I would really love to talk about kind of like, obviously we're in the middle of the Dark Dragon launch. Like, what are you excited about now, and what are you looking forward to in the future? I think the fans would love to hear, anything that you could share that, or we could go into the game. It's up to you.
We could do both, man, for sure.
Great question, Brian.
Bonus.
Yes, let's
Love it. What I'm excited about with the Dark Dragon launch is, again, I think I alluded to it a little bit earlier, is that like it's now very integrated into the story, whereas before it was like, how do we take the laser eyes or the toxic skin and stuff and then kind of put that into the story where it needed to be. So we are deep into books 2 and 3, and we're doing it was always the goal to start here of, the Battle Bunnies and the Unlikely Spartan is book 1. We always just said, like, let's just do a trilogy. Frank's a big Star Wars fan. Just made a lot of sense. I feel like I always work in my own head. I try to break things up into 3. So we were always going to do that. So we are not. The first one was released last May. The goal, which is pretty strong goal, which we believe will happen, is to release book 2 in May of 2024, and then book 3 in May of 2025. But we are writing both books at the same time, so we're going to have this third book done way before the actual release date. At this point, things subject to change in all of those, but I'm very, very, very excited of where the story is, where it's going, and integrating some of the different NFT characters or digital art digital art characters that you guys have named and given backstories. Some of them are going to have some of the featured roles and play some really cool components into these books 2 and 3.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm excited for the next book. That's one of my favorite parts, is the storytelling. I don't know if you can tell from the questions, but just I love the way the art blends with the story. So let's take a few minutes and just test you on your knowledge of some of these characters that are part of the story and part of the bigger world of the Battle Bunnies. Are you up for that?
Yeah, I feel super confident. I don't think but I hope you don't.
Hey, I mean, we've had a few people come ahead of you that have gotten a lot of them correct, and we've had one person not get any of them correct. So,
Okay.
but they will get redeemed, because that just wasn't an area that they really dive into inside the community.
That's what's freaking cool too about this stuff, right? Like,
yeah,
the book, not everybody's going to read a Harry Potter style book. Some people might listen to an audio, but not everybody's going to play a trading card game like Pokemon style game. But some people will, and some people do both, and it's going to be even really cool. Some people just do one. I never played trading card games at all until my boy's 9th birthday party, and then before Creature started this TCG world inside of our world, and now I am a TCG junkie. I don't expect anybody else to be all of those things, but that's it. I think everything revolves around the story, and you'll find a book. Exactly, you'll find a book that will drip out the story, and we'll find a game that will drip out the story, and we'll find a generative art collection that will drip out the story. And there's a lot of different ways that we will get this story out. I'm telling you, man, very, very, very excited. If you like book 1, that's just the appetizer of what the story ends up becoming, because I was super fired up with how book 1 ends, and it tees up everything that's about to come, and I feel like that energy rolls on to books 2 and 3. So I'm excited for that.
And I feel like you guys are following like the hero's journey, like as far as like that first book took a lot of the if the writer / hero's journey on how like the 3-act system works, or 3-act writing system works. You follow that, leaving the ordinary world, Hoplite, leaves the farm, and heads on out into his call to adventure. And like, we're there at the, at that place where he's battling, at the end, or is about to start the battle, right? Like that you teased about earlier. So, So yeah, I see the 3-act structure in the story, and I just love the way you guys are executing that. And it's a great story on its own. Like the book in and of itself is a great story. You wouldn't necessarily need the next 2 books, but I want the next 2 books.
They're good, man. I definitely want them. Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, I think there's multiple ways to tell the stories and multiple ways that you can kind of do it. So putting it into a 3-act structure and then using like stacking on top like that the Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, which there's really there's a lot of familiar parts to the story for a lot of reasons. Like Star Wars was George Lucas took that from a space movie and combined that from another show that he liked. I forget it, but it was super popular, and created Star Wars based on these 2 different things that were super popular. So this guy Joseph Campbell with the hero's journey, he studied like the Bible, he studied ancient like Navajo stories, studied ancient like Aboriginal stories, societies that never connected with each other, and found like a very common theme. So yeah, Greg did a great job of the character dialogue and all those stuff. We try to tee it up to him into like a 3-act structure, but he took it to a different level of doing some of these character arcs. And like Sonya, Narf, Hoplite, they are really, really good. And books 2 and 3, I'll say, they don't go anywhere to start the book, but you're going to see a lot of other cool characters that were in the other book but play a bigger roles into this. So you're going to see really Queen Christikins really plays a big role in this next phase of the story. Miss Firefly is going to play a big role into some of the stuff that we're doing. So very, very, very excited to get that thing out. Can't wait.
Super awesome alpha for anyone listening too that's intrigued, because it definitely got me excited.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and anybody that's listening, if you have a Battle Bunny, and I'm happy to sit down with anybody. We have a little Google form that's kind of designed to just get people started. But I love this stuff. So if anybody wants to try to sit down and try to figure out different character arcs or things for their characters, I would love to do that. I geek out about any of that.
Awesome. Well, we're going to test your knowledge now.
All right. I was trying to stall because you got me.
Yeah. Because you're worried. How are you going to do with Name That Bunny?
Right.
Bunny.
All right.
Financial.
All right.
No financial.
First up, Name That Bunny.
That is Hoplite. Yes. Easy one.
Yeah, that's super easy, right? Like I had to start you easy, right?
Yep.
And I already saw you had this in your hand, so you know who this is.
That's one I wouldn't normally get if it wasn't for the TCG. I've seen the art, love the art. We did some time-lapse video of it, but that's Tobin. And that's part of the TCG, and Tobin is a playable character in there. Tobin is a bard, which it's common in I just watched a movie that was super good. Dungeons and Dragons, I think, Honor Among Thieves, and the guy's like a bard. So Tobin is a bard, and he's got some magical powers that bleed into the TCG game. But Tobin will also be in. I would give too much information here, but Tobin will also
lots of alpha.
Play a part in book 2.
Oh, very cool.
Ooh, nice.
All right, so you're 2 for 2.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's Narf. Of course, that's V1 Narf, because that's
this is V1. This is the Battle Bunny version of him.
Yep. That's the first one. I'll go back to this Grayson Murphy caught me off guard there. But the so
you want me to go back to the Narf?
Yeah, the Narf here. So what's cool about this is if you see this, and even if you saw I know you pulled out Jack Beards last time, and maybe he's a character in this stuff, but what Frank did, he took what the traits that Mike Jack Beard had created. And then that novel character has got the eye patch. It's got the same color scheme, all of those different things. So Narf has that toxic skin, and there's a picture of him back there and stuff. So we actually, this is something different. We that we couldn't have done if we did the old contract. In series 1, I originally had an ultimate hero called Cyclops with an H, and it had because I just like the laser eyes and things like that. But as the story came out, it's like Narf is in there, Christikins is in there, Jackbeard's in there. When we figure out we can name this stuff, I was like, we got to change Cyclops into the Hoplite, like the V1 of Hoplite. So all these different characters can kind of be in here. So my Hoplite NFT in series 1 was originally a different looking bunny called Cyclops. Maybe we'll bring him back at some point. But that is Narf, to your question.
That would be very cool to see that.
Is this? Right. I don't know this because there's a lot of. Is this Disco Fur?
No, this isn't Disco Fur.
But it's a pirate. It's a pirate.
It is a pirate. He's a famous pirate within the community.
Okay. Originally I said Grace Murphy, but no, that's not the case. And okay, I knew this. This is Mothy.
It is Mothy. Yes. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Way to pull that one out.
Yeah, I had to think
like the iPad.
All right, name that bunny. This one might be difficult.
Moonbeam.
You knew it. Yes, this is Moonbeam.
Moonbeam is the librarian in the story that is in the grimoire scene.
Yep. Yeah, and she's also works for your team.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
All right. You should know this one, maybe. Because you named it.
Yep. So okay, so that is mine in that world. It is Kale. It's Cael.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's another name. The inspiration of that, I was trying to. Here's how this got named with that. Somebody wanted to make a trade for me for their Ghost Bunny because they wanted one with a pirate holding a bag. And I said, okay, I'll do that if you name it, and then I'll name it mine and make the trade with it. So he named his, and then I named this, and it just reminded me of that movie Willow, and the character in that skull mask was like Kyle, which Cael or something along those lines. So that's where that came from.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah, this is Quartermaster Kyle.
That's right, because it's got a Quartermaster hat on. That's how you tell the ranking of the pirates.
Nice. Very nice. And here's what you were talking about earlier.
Yep.
I had to put him in here.
Yep. So that's Hoplite again. And that's what we did is we kind of we took what Frank had drawn with the art of the book, and we kind of took the traits and kind of matched it up. So that's why you see that the background's the same. It's got that sword of Cernunnos, which is the Smaragdian sword inside the book, that green sword. And then we threw, you guys chatted with Jackbeard about the rabbit's foot before, but we threw that rabbit's foot in there as a clue with Jackbeard's relationship with Hoplite. So yes.
Very cool. Yeah, I did. We were all like blown away by that. Yeah, or at least I was. Is with the rabbit's foot.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, name that bunny.
Miss Firefly.
Yes, very nice. Yeah, this is one of the latest, one of the newer ones that's been done. All right. How about this guy?
Yep. There's dark matter.
I had to throw dark matter because I love dark matter. He's so cool. All right. How about this one? This one might be difficult.
This is Rylan.
Oh man, you know them all.
Yep. Well, dude, I'm not kidding. We have a digital Miro board where every single person's named their character we've thrown up there, and it's just trying to figure out where they fit in, if they fit into this one or the next one or this part of it or that part of it. So cool. I've stared at that board, fidgeting for a long time. So
I don't know who the owner of this one is, but it's so cool because everything is black except for that blue flame that just pops. Like
this is Anna. Anna owns is the owner of this one, who you bought her Unfantasy franchise, so you guys have a connection in that world.
Oh, sweet. Nice. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, love her bunny. This Valkyrie is awesome.
Yep.
How about this one? You probably know who this one is if you've got that Miro board.
I don't know this one. Do I get
guys? Do do you have one? Do you have a guess?
Do we get a clue?
Clue. I'm trying to think of what their role is inside the community.
Is it Doug?
I don't know if this is Doug's or not. The first part of the name rhymes with bark.
Bark. I don't know. You can tell.
It's Parkerville. Parkerville.
Oh, okay, Parkerville. Yeah. Yep.
Parkerville. Yeah, this is Parker. Yep. This is Parkerville.
Okay. Parkerville's not in the story. That's why I don't know that.
Yeah. Not all of them are in the story. Not all of these are in the story. I ran out of story people. Yep. I could have had like Milo or some of the other characters or Sizemore, but also want to just kind of show off to people who don't know the collection's breadth. All the cool stuff.
We created Milo and Sizemore inside the collection as well, so they actually hatched as dragons, which is super cool. So
they do, yeah. I actually have them in the Name That Bunny game. Somebody will get a question with a Milo or a Sonia or a Sizemore or any of those.
That was the moment where I felt like we have caught up to the story, and now we can start to tell the story and do some really cool things with it when we started to do those things.
Yeah, you know who this is.
This is the mythic sorcerer, right?
Sorcerer. He's the ultimate sorcerer.
The ultimate sorcerer. Yeah, the name, the ultimate sorcerer. Yes, love that one.
Love the background.
Yeah, this one's sick. He's one of my favorites.
Greg's a Koi background.
Yeah. Do you know who this one is?
Do I know who this one is? Yes.
Your mirror board isn't in front of your.
No, it's not. That would be great.
I was wondering that too. I was like, does he have the Miro board?
I am the dude that has you got to look to see if I got the Monopoly money in my hand or a secret Uno card or something, underneath my leg.
He's definitely in the game. This guy's definitely in the game, I'm sure.
Ooh, this would be a good Monopoly game.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about that stuff at one point. Don't know this one.
You guys have a guess on this one, Luke or BBS?
Is it Narf?
Is it Narf?
I was joking, clopping. Sorry, man.
It's Lothbrok Deny.
That's it.
Okay, so it's a reason. Yep.
It's a recent one. But
yep, that was a clue that you said is going to be definitely in the game. That was one that I literally maybe 4 to 6 weeks ago. I was like, Frank, have you done his yet? Have you done Lothbrok yet? Have you done Lothbrok? You guys got to do it. So
this is very important to be in the game.
Yeah. So yes, it's new.
All right, how about this one? This is the last one, I think.
Okay, I love this game. I'd love to keep going. This is Commander Frost.
It is, yes.
Commander Frost in the book is a Spartan, but all Spartans are really Vikings. It's just they are the elite guard of the Vikings, so they are just the badass ones that protect King Harold. But yes, this is a Viking class of Commander Frost.
Yeah, and he's a badass of badasses. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some cool things.
Yeah, awesome. No, you did great.
Man, I am annoyed that I didn't get those two.
Well, the great thing is this game, John, we have plans of actually creating a Quizlet type game that we'll put on the site that people can go practice and do their own, that's cool. Get to know the characters inside of the Battle Bunnies. Cause I think it's just fun. And to learn more, they can get into the Discord server and read the backstories, or they can read the books, or they can play the TCG. That's the cool thing about this is they have different characters in different spaces. They're not all novel characters. They're not all TCG characters. They could just be in the Grimoire. They could just, be someplace else.
I love that you guys are doing this stuff. Love everything that you do in here because it, and that's amazing because it is like I said before, there's multiple ways to drip out the story or get immersed in the story or contribute to the story. Doesn't always need to be the novel or the TCG, but this name the game thing was super fun too because somebody sat down, like Miss Firefly sat down and created picked the traits to become that, and then Frank takes that and draws it into these novel style looking characters and things like that. People that are taking this quiz, if they go onto OpenSea and they search the sort the metadata, I think either by novel hero or there's a couple hero traits, that might be a good place for them to study up before they take the test.
Or come
That's
on
a
our
great tip.
Fancast. Yeah, now that the word's going to get out eventually. And I've got some other games. We played with Creature. We played a game, Your Bunny or Mine, where I got bunnies that looked like his, and like I matched them up and like they were really close, and it had a 50% chance. I didn't want to do that with yours. Because you probably know all of yours in your collection, or and I figured Creature did too. So, but I thought it would just be fun. But that one's also hard to pull together because then I have to like compare all this. Whereas I can just pull down like all the characters that have been named and just add those into a slide deck. So it's a little easier for me.
I like it. I like it. Yep.
But
you gotta. Yep. And got to throw Grace O'Murphy up in that one.
She's been in there. Yeah. She was.
So
we did that
quiz for everybody.
No, everybody gets a different quiz. Like there's hundreds and hundreds of names, so we got all kinds of people. Now I have overlapped a few of them, but yeah, like the whole goal is to eventually, have several games that people can play. That when they come on the show, they're not all going to have Name That Bunny. They're not going to play. I want to do something more when we get into the Dark Dragons, specifically for the Dark Dragons, because they've got all those cool Japanese names, and I thought about like having people guess what they think, the name is based on some clues. We'll give them some clues.
Yeah.
So we'll do some fun stuff with that down the road. But we appreciate you playing that game with us. That was fun.
That was fun. And I wasn't fidgeting to be rude. I was trying to find because I do somewhere have Grace O'Murphy printed out here. But nice. I don't have it in front of me. So my kids probably took it. It was cool. When we were doing these little prototypes, I have a Magic the Gathering card and a Pokemon card, and I kind of put them next to just a piece of paper cutout that I did of one of these things. And my 3-year-old, I came down the stairs and he was just like scratching at this one, like he didn't want those other ones, but he thought it was a card. So just shows you how gravitating the art is, even at all ages. So very excited for this TCG to come out, and that's going to be a big focus of the stuff that we're doing.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Nice. Well, do you guys have anything else? We're pushing an hour and 10.
Future advice. If you could go back and tell yourself something, like one piece of advice that would help you in the beginning, what would that be, knowing what you know now?
Well, I don't know if we would have got to the path if we did. Like, I don't know if that like messes one little thing up that changes us to a different path. But we figured out pretty quick is just not to do things the way that other people do it just because they say that's the way it has to be done. But I think that we've kind of already all of us had it in that way. Yeah, I think the early on, the allow list, the whitelist stuff, there were some things that we did because that's how you launched an NFT project at that point, and you made collaborations with people that didn't give two craps about your project. They just wanted to sell theirs or fill airtime and things like that. So we kind of there was definitely some spaces that we wasted a lot of time on. Then I think that's probably one of the things that I would have done differently. That makes sense. Good questions, man. Absolutely. I feel like you got to write more of them down.
BBS has got the goods. And we're so thankful to have you here. We're so thankful that you're a part of this, and you are an ultimate fan, and you are an ultimate part of the Battle Bunnies itself. So I think that just goes to show you fan out just as much as us, and hence why you're up here on stage right now. You're an ultimate fan, man. You're in the book. You're embedded in it. You'll never be ever nothing but Hoplite to us.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's good. It's good. I love what you guys are doing. Again, I got to listen to a couple of the episodes you did before, even before they were released. So appreciate that access in that world. Yeah, man, I would love to do this again. Love to jump on again. I hope it was valuable. I know I mumbled a lot. It is 10:30 this time where I'm at, but I appreciate you guys having me on for sure. And I feel like I will invite myself on and try to force myself back on. But
don't worry, we'll be pestering you, mate.
Yeah. You're not going to get out that easily. You're going to be a regular. I would assure you of that.
I hope so.
For an hour and 15 minutes, and I feel like there's still so many questions and so many good things to go. So it's definitely good to save it for another day. But we'll probably hit you up in the Discord or anything anyway. You know what we're like.
Yeah. Sounds good, guys. Appreciate you
so
all.
much.
Really excited to get this thing out. And I also, aside from this stuff, man, I'm gonna edit this stuff too as well. So I'll take this video, I'll edit it, I'll throw some cool things in here. So even if we didn't have some I'll put some overlays on some of the stuff that we talked about. So
cool.
That's great. Thank you for your help with this.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it. Likewise, man. I'm very excited for you guys to launch this thing, and we'll see where it goes.
And I know Frank is.
We are too. Yeah, I owe you an outro and a bunch of other stuff. So.
Yeah. Some of that stuff. And Frank is.
I've already recorded it. I just haven't added the music to it. Like I was gonna get back to it Friday night, and I just didn't get it done.
No, that's all good. No, Frank has been super annoying about like, have you seen it? What's it like? Can you send it to us? And like, just chill, dude. We'll sort it out.
It's exactly like when you guys drip out the eggs and you do all that stuff. Like we're all like, oh my gosh, when's that coming? Like, when's the next thing and the next thing?
Yeah, and that's how Brian, right? Even though you're the creator of this, like, we're up here, we still haven't seen what it's actually going to come out and look like. So we're the hosts, man, and we're excited. Like, we're a fan of our own Fancast because, one, you're touching it. So it's like, shit, man, Foodbite Studios is touching it. Like, I'm excited to see what we've done.
Yep. Yeah, it's been great, man.
Post-production, yeah.
I will say that Disco sounds, or Disco looks like I felt Dave sounds. I did not expect Disco to look like that when I watched that episode.
That's what I said. So I didn't mention that, but I said how we all look so different. Like for what we like, we don't expect it. It's awesome. Yeah. That's the funnest thing about it.
Yep. Very cool. Well, appreciate you guys. Definitely book it up again too, man. Whenever you guys, I saw you doing a bunch of them. So send me any of the links that you guys got and you want me to take a look at. And I've already talked to one of the editors that we'll work on it. We'll do some cool things with it.
Cool.
Great.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
All right, guys.
All right, well, thank you. Remember to stay on so that it uploads.
That's right.
And it shouldn't take that much time. So I'll put you in the green room now, and obviously we can edit this.
All right,
appreciate
guys.
it, John. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
What an absolute treat, right, guys? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
How do we top that?
I was nervous the whole time. Like I always say, when he speaks, we're all like listening because it's just the tone of his voice, I reckon, and not to mention the smarts behind it. But I'm so glad to have him up on stage. Like, it was an absolute honor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I
asked a few more questions, right? I did a little better. I wasn't as quiet.
We got you out of your shell. No, my thing is, I always feel like I can take over. So that's the only reason why I say that kind of stuff is I want equal representation of all of us, like
absolutely
with the guests and talking and stuff like that. Cause this isn't a Brian show. This isn't a Luke show. This isn't a Phil show. It's an ultimate fan cast of all of us. So it needs to blend of all of us too. So no, I appreciate you jumping in, and those are great questions. Like Luke was saying beforehand, when you ask questions, they're awesome questions. So we're like, need more Phil. But no, this was one of those, like, yeah, you definitely want this. You want Jon on the podcast, on the show, because he's got so much information. It sounds like we got a little bit of alpha too, and just the little stories about the things. What's that?
Yeah, great questions, Dan.
But having the stories from him himself, like the way it literally originated, it makes it feel so much better. And there's literally how they're talking about, like, what they're on the back end, and he still sees that same excitement from Frank and Krista as we do. You know what I mean? And then he portrays that, so it's crazy to think. And just the way they said it, so we just thought about Spartan. Next minute, Frank's drawn one, and then all
it's Sinatra enough.
hundreds, and it's the Hoplite from the Spartans. Like, man, it's all crazy. It's so well meshed together, well worked,
and this is one of those episodes. As like a host, I want to go back in and watch it. Like, I'm in it, but like I want to go back in and see, because he dropped a bunch of just little nuggets here and there that I think, as we write the ultimate guide, like if we ever put that together, there's stuff that Jon shared on this that, need to be in the ultimate guide, because they're little nuggets from how this all came together, what they were thinking, the decisions they made, that kind of stuff. And that's just so cool. I'm geeking out about that.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, I was thinking, like, would they ever consider doing a book on just the process of this, like the behind the scenes? Like, think about, like, your favorite sports team goes through the whole season and wins, right? And at the end of the season, they say, oh, here's a video of how it all happened. Like, I would love to see a video from like day one of them all talking about it and saying, we're going to do this. And then like their enthusiasm and their drive, and then just like huddling up and just doing it. I think that would be an amazing story, like, as we get going.
And the way they said, like, they innovated in the way, problems happened in the space itself and things weren't going, to see how they adapt and see how they adapted, because obviously they adapted, all right. So having that in the story just adds to it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, this was awesome. We can probably hit end record now, right?
Probably. I don't know.
Thank you for joining us today, Ultimate Fan. BBS, Lord L, and Brian, that's me, do hope you enjoyed today's program as much as we did, where ultimate fans like you are the stars of the show. We'd be honored to have you join us on a future episode where you can share your story and love of the Battle Bunnies with this encouraging community. It would be the greatest compliment if you shared something you love about the Battle Bunnies on your favorite social platform today, like X, Facebook, or Instagram, and tagged us. Or simply use hashtag UltimateFancast so we can recognize and celebrate with you and other super fans by sharing your post. Bonus points if you do both and use an image of one of your favorite Battle Bunnies or a screenshot of this episode. We know you share, like, and comment because you care about our fellow Ultimate fans as much as we do. Please leave comments too to let us know how we can make this the greatest fan experience for the Battle Bunnies community. This podcast is sponsored by Hairstream Media, your bunnies all the time streaming service. Okay, not really. It is just us fans like you giving some of our time to support other fans like you. Join us over in the Battle Bunnies community and Discord to continue the fun. We hope you tune in with us each week, so make it easy. Subscribe now. We'll be here to keep you hopping when you need us.